Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with another viewer's game sent to me as part of the collaboration between the largest chess Facebook group called Chess Teachers and Learners and this YouTube channel Chess to Impress. If you want your game to be analyzed and published in video format, please post it on the Chess Teachers and Learners Facebook group with the message, "Please analyze my game." This game was sent in by Bobby. What a great name for a chess player. As you can see, I put another chess player called Bobby on the thumbnail. But this Bobby played a rated rapid game on Lichess. The time control was 15 minutes for the whole game plus a 10-second increment per move. And Bobby was black in this game, had a rating of 1087 and his opponent with the name of Urtatir was rated 1167, so 80 points higher than Bobby. Let's have a look at the game. We'll look at it from the black side, because we're looking at it from Bobby's side who sent in this game. D4 and D5, E3, Knight F6. Let's put the opening moves on the board. Knight E5, that is a bit of a strange move, playing twice with the same piece in the opening, instead of developing the other pieces. And here Bobby could have played Knight BD7 for example, developing that knight, or maybe E6 to get a bishop on F8 into the game. That's all possible, but Bobby made the same mistake. Instead of making one of those moves, he played Knight F2 D7, also playing with the same piece twice in the first 4 moves. The knight was fine on F6, it did not need to be played back to D7. And now look at this move on move 5. White plays very sharply. Knight takes F7. A piece sacrifice to shatter the defense around the black king. Bobby took it and Queen H5 check. A very direct approach to say the least, but it's not very good. The queen cannot do it by herself. She needs help from other pieces. It's check and also attacking the bishop on F5, so Bobby played G6, shielding the check and protecting the bishop and attacking the queen. The queen went to G5, Knight C6 developing, good move, C4 and E5 played only after 7 seconds and it's a good move. Putting that pawn in the center and offering a trade of queens, which would help black because his king is not safe and he's a piece up. When we're a piece up, it is good to swap pieces. White could have played Queen G3 to avoid the queen trade, but instead he went for the queen trade. Queen takes D8, Rook takes, D takes E5 and D takes C4. That is possible. You can also take that pawn on E5 with one of your knights. But D takes C4 was played and White recaptured with check. And now here I would say King G7 is a bit more natural, getting the king out of the center of the board, but Bobby played King E7. Not a bad move, but it is better to keep your king as safe as possible, and in the center of the board the king mostly is not very safe. Knight C3 from White developing. Now Bobby took that pawn, is attacking the bishop on C4. White played Knight D5 check and the king went to D7 with a possible path to safety for the king through C8 and B8. That would be a nice plan. White gave another check and now King C8 is a good move, putting the king safe behind the pawns on the queen side. But Bobby went back to E7 with the king, keeping that king in the center. It's not a bad move, it's not a blunder, but it's not the best way to play. We want to keep our king as safe as possible. The knight went back to D5 with check, inviting a move repetition, and now Bobby played the king to D6. Black is still doing very well with his extra piece, but his king is in the middle, which is not great. That bishop on C4 is still attacked by the knight on E5. A move like bishop B3 is possible and the game goes on. Instead White castled, completely forgetting that that bishop is hanging on C4. Bobby said thank you very much, I'll take it, and that's a second piece in the bag. Rook D1, threatening some discovered attack against Black's king. You can play bishop g7 here, completing your development, and white has no great discovered checks. But it's understandable that Bobby wanted to get his king out of that firing line of the rook and played king e6. Knight takes c7 check, wins a second pawn for the 2 pieces that he is down, which of course is not nearly enough. King is in check, so king e7 was played and a rook was swapped. King takes, attacking the knight, knight d5 and bishop d6, completing development. And white still has a rook at home on a1 and a bishop on c1. He has not developed his pieces, but he has given 2 of them away. b3, and here a nice move is bishop e5, attacking the rook, and the rook is lost because you cannot go to b1 because the other bishop is covering that square. Black's bishops are beautiful there in the center of the board. But Bobby plays another move, knight 4 to e5, saving his knight from the attack of the b pawn. Bishop b2 developing, rook e8, getting the rook in the center. White does the same, and knight d3, attacking that bishop on b2. g4 from white, attacking the defender of the knight on d3, but white had missed that his bishop on b2 was hanging. And Bobby took it, attacking the rook, so white does not have time to take the bishop on f5. But he could play rook d2, and now 2 of black's pieces are hanging, the knight on b2 and the bishop on f5. Bobby took on g4, and rook takes b2. Black has won another pawn with this little sequence, and more importantly, he has got another pair of pieces off the board. When you're material up, you want to swap pieces, but not necessarily pawns. Game goes on, knight e5 on move 26. Knight f6, and that is a double attack. But the bishop on g4 is protected, so there's no panic. Bobby decided on knight f3 check. And if you play king g2 here, which was not played, then there is bishop e5. And that is a double attack on 2 of white's pieces. White can take on e8 and black can take on b2. And again, this is very good for black. More pieces have been swapped. In the game, white did not play king g2, he played king f1. And Bobby took another pawn with check. And now king g2. Now white is attacking lots of black pieces, but they're all defending each other. The bishop on d6 is defending the knight, and the knight is defending the bishop on g4. Bobby played rook e6, attacking the knight, knight takes g4, and knight takes g4, more swaps, f3, knight takes e3 check, king f2, and knight d5, which was the last move of the game, because here black left the game, he did not resign. He left the game, which is quite unsportsmanlike, but which we unfortunately see a lot. Bobby was awarded the win, of course, which was nice, with the black pieces against a higher rated opponent. Why did white not play on? He's just too much material down. He can play rook d2, for example, attacking the knight, but there's so many ways for black to play here. For example, rook e5. Simply defending the knight, and black's material advantage is overwhelming. A simple plan for black is to start running with the passed h-pawn, which will be well supported by black's pieces. But there are many other winning plans as well. White has no counterplay at all, so it's understandable that white threw in the towel. Just the way he did it was not very nice. Great win from Bobby, but still a few pointers to improve his game even more. Try to avoid playing with the same piece twice in the opening, and try and tuck away your king as safely as possible in the opening and the middle game. One last comment is on time management. This was a game of 15 minutes plus a 10-second increment per move, and it lasted 32 moves, but both players finished with more time on the clock than they started. White had 16 minutes and 46 seconds left when the game finished, and black 15 minutes and 16 seconds. When you play a long time control, it's good to use the time that you are being allocated. That will improve the quality of your games. For example, it's good to look at every move if there are any tactics available, by looking for possible checks, captures and attacks. Anyway, thanks to Bobby for sending me this game, and as I mentioned at the start of the video, if you want your game to be analyzed and showcased in video format, please post it on the Chess Teachers and Learners Facebook group. The link to that group is in the description box of this video. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel, and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.